What's going on, everybody? This is a very special video, and in this video, we will list out what we think are the best movies and TV shows coming out in November and December this year. Be sure to stick around till the end of this list because you do not want to miss these. Without further ado, let's get started.
In 10th place on our list is Free Guy coming December 11th. What are your thoughts on this one?
This one looks fun. It just looks like a mindless, fun film on obviously the NPC. Shout out to the video we already made here. I like it. I like this movie. What do you think?
I have very mixed feelings on this movie. I know Ryan Reynolds is in it, which is a very good sign, but I feel like the plot is going to suffer from being very cliche. Just looking at the trailers, special effects don't really look all that much convincing to me as well. So, yeah, it's a very mixed bag for me.
Yeah, but the director obviously has some good movies under his belt, having Stranger Things under his belt, having Real Steel under his belt, having Pink Panther under his belt. I feel like he really has that comedy style that he can do.
For sure, that needs to be seen though. How much of that comedy he can bring to a movie that is this derivative on previous things like GTA or the Lego Movie. The film doesn't really seem to have all that much originality aside from the cast.
Agreed. The only thing that it has going for it that makes me excited for it, and the reason it's on our list, is because of the fact that Ryan Reynolds and Fox Studios have done nothing but make us happy. He has not disappointed for the last two releases, and I trust the director of this movie. And I think it's
Yeah,
really cool that they're involving YouTubers and people who are of a smaller base than these actors in this, because as I mentioned in the previously put out video, it's really easy for a film star to become a YouTuber, but it's not easy for a YouTuber to become a film star.
I think it's also a kind of generational bait, if you will. Like they're clearly trying to get the Gen Zers to watch this movie because
Oh, of
their favorite
course,
YouTube stars are in it. But
of
I
course.
welcome that. I welcome that it's a refreshing change from, oh, let's put these really old celebrities who no one's ever heard of in these movies. You get that?
Yeah, and it's a video game movie. I mean, there are ways this can be done wrong. I completely agree, but let's hope none of those ways are taken, and let's hope we do a good job.
Yeah, if this movie is half as good as Deadpool or Deadpool 2, I will like it because those movies were outstanding. So let's just keep our fingers crossed.
Yep. And number 9 on the list is Wonder Woman 2, Wonder Woman 1984. Now, this movie is looking very interesting, but I do have a couple of doubts on it, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, same here. I do think it's very visually stunning. They did a great job with the effects, making it look realistic and all that. But in terms of the plot and the adaptation of the source material, I'm a little bit worried because Cheetah in the comics is a very powerful character. And it looks like they might be toning down her power and maybe making her a pawn of Maxwell Lord's character. I'm not too keen about that.
Yeah, but nevertheless, it is still number 9 on this list. We are still looking forward to it. It is going to be good. Let's be very clear. It's going to be good. But how good it could be based on potential is going to be where I'm worried because the sequel curse is real.
Very
And
true.
that's the only reason this is so low. It would have been much higher if there
Also, because the
wasn't a
other movies
sequel.
are really good as well, and we like all these movies on the list, but it was very hard to get them in an order that made sense. But we're not saying that just because Wonder Woman is ninth place, we hate the movie.
Yeah, to be clear, they're all on the list because they're all really good.
Yeah. So on another note, who, which cast members are you excited for in this movie?
I think Pedro Pascal, I cannot wait to see him shine in this one.
Absolutely, he's really gonna show his colors as Maxwell Lord, and it's cool to see the versatility of him as an actor. He's the Mandalorian. He was Pena in Narcos, and now he's this businessman. It's cool to see him in all these different roles.
Yeah. And obviously, we have the Wonder Woman original cast coming back: Gal Gadot, Chris Pine. These guys are obviously doing a great job. Have done a great job last time, and will be doing a good job this time too.
Yeah, let's hope they can make a movie that is as good, if not better, than the first one. But in all fairness, they did set the bar pretty high, so you never know. Coming up in eighth place is The Midnight Sky, directed and starring George Clooney. It's coming on December 23rd, 2020. I am quite excited for this movie. The cinematography looks very outstanding. And from what it seems, the acting and the performances seem very vivid and emotional as well. In seventh place is Greenland, which is a movie that's already out in some places, like Belgium, but it's coming to the US on December 18th on HBO Max. It's an apocalyptic film about comet fragments that will cause the extinction of humanity in a few days. So this guy and his family, they have to get to Greenland and hide in bunkers before it's too late.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's a high stakes film, just like The Midnight Sky was. I'm very excited to see this. Plus, we know that Chris Evans was originally on this film and he left. Despite that, this film is at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So even though I don't want to spoil anything else about the movie, I still want to know that how good it was. And 100% on Rotten Tomatoes is no small feat.
Yeah, that's true. It really seems like it has resonated with the people that have seen it. And from what I can tell from the trailer, the effects and the general scope of this film just seem very grandiose in a good way. I'm really excited to see some dramatic performances from the cast because it's not a very easy thing to be acting like a catastrophe is impending. So, something to look forward to.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is we need movies like this nowadays since we don't have as much entertainment and new movies. I'm really glad that they're putting out some really strong movies.
Yeah, the need for quality movies has never really been higher in these troubling times.
At number 6, we have Your Honor coming on December 6th, which consists of 6 episodes. Bryan Cranston is a judge here, and his kid crashes into someone and kills him. The victim happens to be the son of the biggest mob boss around, and this just looks to be a thrilling experience.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston, he's a standout actor. Breaking Bad is my favorite TV show of all time, so I'm a little bit biased. But I really think that this is his specialty, acting as somebody who has criminal tendencies, but who's also caught in a very uh, like conventional job.
Yeah, this is his bag. This is exactly what he does best. He's the conflicted good guy whose circumstances cause him to commit bad things, commit crimes.
Definitely. So I should note that it's also developed from this Israeli TV show called Kvoto, which, from what I've heard, is quite good. So you know, there's already a precedent to this being an amazing show.
Yeah, I can't wait for this one. This one is nothing but positivity from this side.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a kind of like slow burn because the mafia will probably get increasingly disturbed by Bryan Cranston's son having done this. But
See, I think the exact opposite. I think every episode is going to be extremely action packed.
really,
Just based on what I saw from the trailer, it looked like Bryan Cranston was going to set up somebody else to take the fall for it, and then there was going to be a bit of a mafia war, and then at some point they're going to realize that it was Bryan Cranston and his kid, and then they're going to somehow get out of it. Because I highly doubt that Bryan Cranston is going to lose in this series, and I highly doubt that they're not going to set up a season 2, to be very honest with you.
yeah. But then again, it is a legal thriller, so there is kind of a tendency for them to move a little bit slower than action. Regardless, it's going to be awesome. In fifth place, halfway through the list, is One Night in Miami, which is directed by Regina King in her directorial debut. It's based on a play, and it's about what happened when Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, and Sam Cooke all got together in a hotel room and had a conversation one night in Miami. What do you think about this movie?
This just looks really cool. The reason it's so high is just because I just want to know what these legends talked about.
Yeah, I mean, it really seems like it's a dream team sort of movie. All these incredible personas with respective weight for each of them. I want to see how they interact. I want to see how Ali's ego plays a role in this because we all know he's famous for that. And yeah, I think that the cast also looks pretty incredible. You got Kingsley Ben-Adir as Malcolm X and Leslie Odom Jr. as Sam Cooke. So those are
Yeah,
standouts.
this is gonna be a great one, and again, I hope they have some really good sources for this movie, and it's not just BS. But if these guys like properly had the conversation on screen that they had way back when, I want to know what they talked about. I want to know how that went down, and I
Well, it's a fictionalization of this real event, but on the bright side, it has received critical acclaim when it was shown at a film festival.
There you go.
So
I
there
am
we go.
excited for this one. This one is definitely going to be a rewatchable thing, and you're definitely going to, above all, you're going to learn something from it. Even though it's fictionalized, you're going to learn something from it because these people are greats, and even fictionalized versions of them are greats.
Very true. It's a movie that's going to have a lot of heart and soul to it. In fourth place is David Fincher's Mank, which is coming on November 13th, 2020. This movie is about what happened behind the scenes of Citizen Kane. It's about the titular character Herman J. Mankiewicz and Orson Welles. And it's David Fincher, so I have extremely high expectations for this movie. But also Gary Oldman, Amanda Seyfried. It's really going to be a standout movie. Also coming on Netflix, so this seems to be kind of like a successor to The Irishman in the sense that it's Netflix's holiday movie.
Yeah, this movie's really doesn't seem like it's for me because I wasn't the biggest fan of Citizen Kane. But then again, it's if I have my unbiased reviewer hat on, it's really hard to ignore the brilliance of these movies, and this really is going to be a standout. Netflix is continuing its tradition of the holiday movie, as you said, and if it's anything like The Irishman, I feel like this is going to do very well.
For sure. This movie is David Fincher's first film in 6 years, so talk about an amazing return. And second of all, I just think that the themes of the movie are something that will be relatable to a lot of people. It's about the production of art and accountability and taking credit because this individual, Herman Mankiewicz, had to work under the shadow of someone as prolific as Orson Welles, which is not a very easy thing to do.
Yeah, and
So
we're not going to say David Fincher's comeback because he never fell off,
that's true.
but it is
Gone Girl
cool.
was far from a fall off.
But it is cool to see him come back.
Definitely. David Fincher, amazing director, and I really think this movie is going to be edgy in the sense that it's a black and white film in 2020. Now, the script was written 30 years ago, so there's that, but it's not common for films to be in black and white in 2020s.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a different experience, and it's definitely going to appeal to the older audience that wants to
Yeah,
see more of this and will be shocked to see some of the things that unfold in this movie.
like a vintage movie. I really dig that vibe, especially with the modern cameras and effects that we have nowadays. But I do think from what David Fincher has said in interviews that the acting is going to be very old school. I'm personally looking forward to that a lot.
And do we even actually know the entire story of what happened in this sense?
Well, there was another movie called RKO 281, which is about behind the scenes Citizen Kane as well by Ridley Scott. But I feel like David Fincher's movie is going to be a fresh take on
It's
this
definitely
event.
going to be more detailed and it's going to be more like interesting, I guess, to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be a visionary film from what I predict.
Yeah, I'm very curious how this one goes on, and even though, like I said, it might not be for me, I'm still gonna give it a watch. So
That's
definitely.
true. And you know how the thing is, it's about the behind the scenes of a movie that you may not have enjoyed. So while the movie may not have been the best movie, what went on behind the scenes is a completely different story. It's like if I were to make if I were to compare The Rise of Skywalker to what happened behind the scenes of The Rise of Skywalker, two completely different movies.
Yeah, we're not gonna say either of them were good, but we're gonna say it's two completely different movies. I
That's
wasn't
true,
that much
yeah.
of a fan of Citizen Kane, but I feel like this is gonna be maybe because it went over my head, but this is gonna be interesting. I'm definitely gonna give this a watch, like I said.
As will I.
At number three, we have Soul. Now, Soul is coming out on December 25th, Christmas Day, another Christmas Day release. And the reason I am personally so hyped about this is because this is rumored to be the Pixar A Team. For those of you who don't know, Pixar has an A Team and a B Team. The A Team is the Toy Story people, and the B Team is Onward. Now, Onward was brilliant, so I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, it's Pixar first of all, and not only is it Pixar, this movie already has been critically acclaimed when it premiered at the London Film Festival. 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's gonna be awesome. And also, can we get a quick shout out for Disney Plus for like not making this movie cost additional money for subscribers? Thanks for like not being a bitch.
Yeah, I don't think I would do that again.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, on another note, this movie stars incredible people like Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey, the drummer of the Roots, Questlove, and it's a movie about music, so you expect the score to be good, but it's by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, which are standout composers, so the music's gonna be outstanding.
Yeah, Nine Inch Nails, I believe.
Yeah, that's true. Those are the people that made Old Town
No,
Road, so that's how you know it's gonna be
there you
awesome.
go. Yeah, these guys are insane. Obviously, Toy Story people. If this is true and this is the A Team, I cannot wait. This is gonna be a crazy watch, and this is probably the one I'm gonna watch on Christmas Day.
Definitely. The concept is also very very interesting because it's Pixar's. It's one of the first existential movies. It's about what happens when you die, what happens when your soul is in another dimension. It's about one's concept under life, and I personally think it's awesome when Pixar explores these really complex themes.
Yeah, and Pixar always, almost always does that anyways.
That's true, yeah, but this is like another level. This is about life and death.
It's a deeper meaning at every time with Pixar, and especially with such a crazy, deeper meaning about life and death. I just, this is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, we already know it's going to be good, so I just can't wait for it.
Number two is WandaVision. Now, this is my personal favorite on the list, being a crazy Marvel fan. Number one, we're not going to tell you yet, but it's number one for a reason. But number two is WandaVision. Now, this is an experimental thing. It's amazing because it opens a new door for Marvel and it expands what Marvel has been able to do. Everything that Marvel has done has been somewhat grounded in reality, but right now we have something that's completely out of this world. We don't even know what it's about, but we know that from hints and from trailers and from the videos that I've already made, we know that it is going to be a separate dimension. It looks like it's going to be a separate dimension that Wanda creates to live her life with Vision. And whatever happens there ends with her going into the Doctor Strange movie as probably the villain.
Yeah, so far the MCU has not really worked on a proper TV show. You know, there's been Agents of Shield, Agent Carter, but those haven't really been supervised by Kevin Feige. This one is different because it's the MCU's first true show, and as you said, it's a wild card. It could go either way, but I really hope they stick the landing and they make this a very experimental and rousing show.
And I should point out that it's Marvel Phase 4's first thing coming out. This has to be good. They have moved some stuff around. They have moved some stuff around. Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be the one to come out first, but it's not. They got to stick the landing with this. It's fun. It's a sitcom style. It's going to be very interesting to see. I think they really will stick the landing with this. I have full faith in Kevin Feige, and uh, whatever they do here, it has to be right.
It's refreshing too, right? It's not a movie that focuses on superheroes. It's focusing on like the everyday life aspect of these kinds of things,
Yeah, and
however whimsical they may be.
it's just it's weird, it's quirky, but I think they can make it work. And if they can make this work, then the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, 2021's Marvel's year. You got nearly four live action projects coming, so
Yeah, Eternals,
this better
Shang
set the bar
Chi,
high.
Black Widow, Falcon and Winter Soldier rumored to come out, and this whole Marvel lineup is looking like, after you make an epic like Endgame, you have to follow it up with something. And I'm actually really
Definitely.
glad that they're not following it up with Black Widow, because Black Widow is a look at the past, while this is a look at the future and beyond.
And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, our topic is The Mandalorian, which is coming in 3 days from now when we're recording this, but 2 days from when you'll be listening to this, October 30th. And it's something that I'm really, really, really excited for because The Mandalorian Season 1, bit of spoilers ahead, that ended on quite a cliffhanger with Moff Gideon's dark saber being unveiled for the first time in live action. And I just want to see how all this ties up. I want to see how the Mandalorian finds the child's family, and I want to see the new planets they go to.
Yeah, and it's something to be hyped about when a Marvel fan is gonna put. I'm a Marvel fan. I'm putting this above WandaVision on the list. I am so excited for this because the only reason I think it like deserves to be above WandaVision is because of the fact that this is an established series. This is already really good, and it doesn't have the sequel curse like many others might because the first season was just there to introduce the world and make us love it. This is where the story really begins if you think about it.
Yeah, and for one, I think John Favreau is has kind of like the antidote to the sequel curse. He's more like the franchise starter for him, right? Iron Man 2 was awesome.
Mandalorian has done nothing but make a good show so far. I have very high expectations for this as well. John Favreau, Pedro Pascal, Gina Carano, these people have done a brilliant job last season. Plus, I'm just really
Very
excited to
true.
see what Baby Yoda is gonna do. Like Baby Yoda was already learning about the Force. The dark saber has now been introduced, and Mandalorian cannot mess with that as much as we would like to. So I'm sure there's gonna be some assistance from Baby Yoda. And also, I want to know how this ties into the official canon story and what they're gonna discover.
Yeah, I mean, we've already talked about this in some of our other videos, but
Shameless
um,
promotion.
I'm yeah, shameless promotion, but I'm not really too keen on them mixing the Mandalorian with things like the sequel trilogy. Wasn't the biggest fan of that, if
Oh,
you guys don't already
definitely,
know. But things like the original trilogy, prequel trilogy, I'm all for that. Nostalgia never hurts when it comes to that stuff.
definitely. And above all, I do also want to know about more about the Mandalorian and his roots. And not only that, I'm also really excited to see Ahsoka in this. I've rumors have said Ahsoka's in this, although the trailer showed somebody else.
Yeah, that wasn't Ahsoka. That was Sasha Banks playing an unnamed character as of now.
Yeah, we have rumors though. Who is this supposed to be?
People are saying it might be Sabine. I
Sabine.
don't think it's Sabine personally, but you never know. Now, one thing that we should say is that it really says something about the quality of a show and the anticipation that the fans have for it when, despite rumors like this coming out about the cast, people are even more excited about it because Ahsoka is such a beloved character. Everyone's so hyped for this right now.
Yes, and Ahsoka was, keep in mind, the star of the Clone Wars. So I do believe that Disney has a plan, even though the sequel trilogy has given me every reason to doubt that they've ever had a plan. I do still have hope in my heart that they have a plan. So maybe the reason for Ahsoka being the star of Clone Wars, the season 7 of Clone Wars, was because of her role in The Mandalorian, and maybe that'll connect somehow.
That's true. Now, it should be stated that a lot of that season 7 plot was written before the sequel trilogy because Clone Wars was supposed to come earlier. But yeah, I do think that that was maybe a deliberate move a little bit on Disney's part, releasing the Clone Wars uh, a couple months before the Mandalorian because they could tie together nicely.
Yeah, this show, if I hate to repeat myself, but if WandaVision doesn't get you to get a Disney Plus subscription, this one will 100%. Don't miss this one. This is going to be crazy. We're going to be watch partying this all day.
And in the words of Count Dooku, I've been looking forward to this. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts. By supporting this channel, you're allowing us to keep making this great content and keep Spectre React going. Thanks for watching, and peace out.